Hey, you guys, good morning, or afternoon, I guess it is.
It's afternoon.
It's afternoon. So I'm here with my friend Joanne Neweduk, and Joanne and I go back, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, good 4, maybe even 5.
Maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
And I've watched Joanne over the last few years start up a whole new thing, like from scratch. And it's called Fabulous 50. No?
Yeah, Fabulous at 50 in Calgary, the Calgary chapter.
Fabulous at 50, and it literally, I mean, I think we talked about it before you even started, didn't you?
Yep, we actually met because I remember the event we met at. It was probably 2014, and at that event was the first I had heard of Fabulous at 50, and through a mutual friend I was introduced to Diana Bose, who founded it up in Edmonton. You know, it's been over 10 years now
since she started it.
Yeah, since she started it, and she was just wanting to expand outside of Edmonton because she had so many people in Calgary and across the country saying, "When are you coming to my city?"
Yes.
Because I want to celebrate women in midlife as well. And
so is it just mostly for women?
It is. It is. It's geared for women, but really what it's about is celebrating women in midlife. It started off more celebrating baby boomers.
Yes.
Now baby boomers have moved a little bit older, and so we're still capturing. It's more Gen X that are coming in that are the 50s and so forth. That's what I'm kind of right on the cusp of both. But it also encompasses all the people that want to help celebrate, all the men that understand, and our children, and our parents that also say that when we go into our midlife, into our 50s, women go through massive change. I liken it to going through adolescence again, in a sense, because physically we have changes going on, emotionally we have changes going on, and women really shift their attitudes, I think, at this time. And we want to celebrate that. My personal motto is that women in midlife have much to share with each other in the world.
So for like a lot of women in the 50s, the kids are grown up, they've had children.
Yep.
And
so getting close.
So that whole thing has kind of changed, so is it about finding a new purpose, new reason for being?
Yes, and everything.
Getting back into community.
Yes, and yes.
Okay.
All of that. I would say, one, it's really learning about ourselves, right? I think women who, once we get into our 50s, it's, if I can say it, just don't put up with the bullshit anymore, right? I mean, it's true. It's like we're kind of going, what have we been doing? But I do find there's kind of 2 categories. That it's either the women that have found that, and it's like, I am so embracing all the experiences I've ever had, and I'm taking that out into the world. So when they hear the word Fabulous 50, they're like, hell yeah, I already know that. And they want to identify and say, I want to be part of that community because that's what I am.
Because they are part of that.
That's right. They're already, like, emotionally, they're in. They're already in. Then I find the women that are a little bit more, kind of that slide. They're, oh God, I'm turning 50 and I don't really want to, and what's going to happen? And they're feeling less than their vibrant selves. They've lost a bit of that. I never say you lose the light. I always believe that light inside of us is burning, but that
harder to find.
That's right. The mud and stress of life have built up, and those women are often, they hear Fabulous at 50 and they're like, what did you say? And they're like, wait a minute, that's what I want to be. And so they identify with us because they want to shed off that muck and wash it away. And I do that kind of more on a personal one-on-one level with the women.
Do you do some counseling?
I do. So I whether you want to call it stress management or stress and relaxation sessions, but they're really healing sessions. So I work with my personal brand is Brilliant Light Wellness. And so the social brand is Fab at 50. We run events and activities. But when someone comes to me more on a one-on-one or as a retreat or in a group session, I really pride myself on helping people. I've had people come in with, they subjectively say their stress levels are as high as 7, 8, 9, even 10 out of 10.
Wow.
And it can be from all sorts of things. Often there's a crisis going on,
Yes.
or it's a build-up. You know, I've
Yes.
had women come in because they're newly diagnosed with cancer. I've had women come in because they're on stress leave from a business and realizing they're still stressed, because everywhere you go, there you are. And it's not about the external stressors. And as you know, and this is the meditation part, it's what we're doing on the inside and how we're coping with them.
Yes.
And so within a session of, first sessions are definitely about 90 minutes long, and I blend practices with belief reparenting, sound healing, and light therapy as well.
Belief repatterning.
Belief reparenting. So it really is switching our minds from that itty bitty shitty committee going off in our brains, the negative
Shitty committee. I
yeah,
like that.
the negative side, that
Yes,
that voice
That's
inside
so
of you
sweet.
that is not being your. It really is. So Suze Casey is who I trained with. Her term is inner critic to inner coach.
Yes. Nice.
And so switching the flip to positively thinking.
Yeah.
Because I mean, lots of people go, oh, I know it mean.
we call them the monkeys. Sometimes we call them
The monkeys, we do. I talk about when I'm in a session with
Yeah.
someone and I'm helping them and we're going through something and I'm like, I just heard your monkey go off. It's like energetically I
Yeah.
can feel their monkey screaming, because that's the doubt. And we just
Yeah.
have to know that
Yep.
it's there to keep us safe. There was a reason we adapted the behaviors we did,
Yes.
because it kept us safe at a period of time.
Yep.
But when they're no longer serving us, we need to get that away. And so through this session, by the end of the session, pretty much everybody says at the end of the session, when I ask them, so how stressed do you feel right now? They're down to a 1 or 2 max.
They're present.
They're present but relaxed, but we actually shift the energy of what's
Yes.
going on. They're allowed to release. And so I like to say I create.
Be some tears maybe.
Oh, absolutely.
Often. Yeah.
Often there's tears, but it doesn't have to be. There's tears
No.
and laughter.
Yes.
There's both.
Yeah.
But my goal is to create a safe place for the strong to feel vulnerable.
For you.
So whether it's male or female, I mean, I my main market, because of my social group, is women.
Yes.
But some of my favorite clients are men.
Nice.
Because the shift, when a man comes in who has always just held it together, and there's this big cloud weighing him down, and that's where illness and, you know, then watching that shift and going, oh, I didn't know this was possible in my life, you know. And definitely for the women as well, is there's a lot of changes, as we mentioned, that they go through in midlife, and they're becoming empty nesters. Often there's career changes. I want to retire from my job with the pension, and now I want to do something meaningful in life, but they don't have the confidence. So I can help them both on a personal level and on a business level to help guide them, because after all, I got into business for the first time in my life when I turned 50.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. Like, that's part of my mission, is to help or to inspire or to support people in their 50s and 60s and 70s
Yep.
to be in the game, to let's get going. you know.
Absolutely.
I think that when we quit, or we I mean,
Retire.
A lot of have been conditioned.
Yeah.
Our belief system says, I'm 60, I'm going to stop giving back.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop being. So it doesn't mean that we have to be in a high-paying job. We can be giving back in so many places.
Oh, absolutely. It's about
Service is
finding.
so key.
What I love, one of the other wonderful mentors I have is Monique McDonald, and she teaches sacred gifts, and she runs a course. And the messaging on that, the global messaging on that, is sometimes people get so caught up in, I have to find my purpose in life. I don't believe we have a single purpose in life.
No.
What we
It
have
shifts as
are
we
exactly
go through stages.
we have gifts
Yeah.
that we can share with the world,
Yes.
and it's about feeling on purpose
Yes.
in life.
Yes.
So whatever we're doing, are we using what our gifts are and sharing and
Yeah.
benefiting others? So
Yeah.
that's
I mean, at my age right now, what I feel is my purpose certainly wouldn't have been my purpose in my 30s and 40s.
exactly
Not even close.
exactly.
You know.
So all the way along we can do that. And when you were talking about the belief reparenting, when I often don't like to just title things like that, because people think, well, we hold on to our beliefs. It's not so much about the beliefs even. It's kind of the paradigm we live in, or the concepts we think about the world. And so I describe it, most people in the world now know about computers. And so I talk about, if you want to use a certain software, you want to do a program, it has to be with the current operating system. You cannot take the current programs now and put them into a computer that once used SCSI cords. It doesn't work. Like that operating.
What's the SCSI cord?
Do you remember that? Like the old, it's just, anyway, it's the type of the cord that the computers use. Like if you're back, you know, like the 80s or so, it's just an older system, or floppy disk, right?
Yeah.
So what I say is when we do work together, what we're doing is updating the operating system so that you can have new, right?
Yeah.
So
many of us need, I tell many of the young fellows that I work with, they actually need a brainwashing.
They need to wash out the old gunk of the brains,
Yes, and, you know, because their conditioning often is in lack, and fear, and not enough, and as we get older, sometimes we don't feel as attractive as we did.
So it's reframing.
Yes.
So I'm very good at working with people and taking, if you give me a whole list of things that you feel is draining in your life, through this system very quickly we can flip it from a different angle or a different approach to make it very energizing. Right? So I think that's important because we want to feel our vitality is raised and our vibration. So really what I'm doing is working with the frequency of thought.
So I'll bet then you focus on gratitude.
Gratitude, is one of the main pillars. So I...
For me too, in what I'm
absolutely.
doing.
So gratitude, deep gratitude, being generous, but both to yourself and others.
So service.
Service, but also being generous to ourselves. Many people forget, and especially many women, but I would say men as well. I do find it with men, we just don't talk about it as much with men, is we forget to add ourselves to the plate, that self-care piece. So that's what I mean by generous to both, and celebration. So those are my three, and those three pillars, it evolved from watching people who were unknowingly my mentors and role models, and they were like my grandfather who lived to 99, my mom's friend who passed at 106. I went to her 105th birthday in her backyard, and she actually was the one inviting me. Joanne, I want you to be there. And what I noticed is all of them had that. They all had a deep sense of gratitude no matter what they had in life. They did something of service to others, but they were also good to themselves. Like they had fun. It wasn't out of deprivation of the self. And then they celebrated. They had fun in life. They enjoyed.
We need more fun. So you're fabulous at 50, like the event we're going to on the 14th. Is there some celebration?
Absolutely. So the whole thing is a celebration. We call it the Fabulous at 50 Experience and Martini Party. The bar opens at noon. For those that, I know you do not partake at all, but for those that are able...
after a couple of drinks, they'll come meditate with me.
Absolutely. They can have a martini and a wine for those that would like. But it is about celebrating life and knowing that as we get older, we just have more to share with each other. And so we have over 50 vendors, exhibitors. So anything from construction
Is that more
to...
than last time?
Just maybe a little bit more. Just around the same. And there'll be hundreds of women that come. And then, of course, we have our main stage, and all day long we have inspirational speakers, presentations.
So give me a name tag that says David, single.
Absolutely.
No, I'm just kidding.
Believe me, there's probably a whole bunch of the women that want to do that as well. But we do. And actually, you'll love this. Have you ever heard of Wayne Lee, a hypnotist from Edmonton?
No.
He's now kind of world-renowned, does shows all over, does a lot of corporate. But he loves Fabulous at 50 and the concept. And so he's doing the last hour. And so from 4 to 5, it's worth getting a ticket just for that. I watched him for the first time about a year, just less than a year ago. I met him last summer. And he entertained 900 women at a big conference. And I had tears of laughter rolling down my face. I had to hold my cheeks because he has such a wonderful positive message, but he made it fun. He actually, by the end, he taught us unequivocally that our minds are powerful.
Yes.
And what we tell our minds, our bodies listen to, our
Yeah.
actions listen to, our behavior listens
Oh,
to.
so he's an inspirational
He is
guy.
such an inspirational guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
funny but
Yeah,
inspirational.
absolutely.
Humor's a great road in, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have to. And you know, it's not about, when people think of fabulous, you know, sometimes we think of almost frivolous.
Yes.
And I just want to make sure that the message is, we're not about being frivolous. We're about, I don't know any woman in her 50s that hasn't had hard times, had heart-wrenching times. But what we know, or grief, and that's one of the themes, and I can share why, that when we go through grief in our lives, we need to experience it, we need to go through it, but we all go through it different times.
Yes.
But at the end of it, my messaging is always, and my grounding, my belief is that the best way to honor our loved ones in their passing is to find joy again.
Yes.
It's not about denying the sadness, it's about going through it
Yeah.
and coming out at the other end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feel
Yeah.
it and live.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, good.
absolutely.
Those are really great messages. So all day, the event starts at noon? Or
No, the event actually starts at 10.
10, and
So the doors open at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
And
I remember last year they were lined up.
well, they were lined up partly, but, you know, one, because the event is just fun.
Yes.
But the first 100 women that show up, or 100 people,
Yeah.
men and women,
Yes.
that show up get the swag bag with a gift from one of our vendors.
Oh, nice.
And so it's a $20 gift. The tickets are only $20, so it's
Yeah.
and so you get an actual gift, and that's because the exhibitors want to say thank you for coming. We appreciate you being here, and it's about a celebration. So the first 100 women get
So
that.
I could put something in the bag?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a bookmark, or like those.
Something, the values has to be around $20.
Okay.
Each of those. So
Okay.
four
Oh wow.
of
Okay,
those.
yeah. All
We're
right.
generous. We have
Yeah.
very generous
All right.
people.
All
You
right.
know, or you can do a door prize. You could give away. Tell me more about the meditation stool that you're going to have or kit. You have a
Yes.
kit now.
Well, actually, I've stopped. Yes, they're meditation stools, but I tell people they're transportation vehicles.
Ooh.
That they'll skyrocket you into the fourth dimension of existence.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that great?
I like
or
that.
Infinity and beyond. And, and
Buzz Lightyear.
This is the kind of the corner piece of our kit. But we also have an altar, or meditation table, whatever they
Yeah.
want to call it, that goes with the kit. And then we have some sage and a really cool shell that goes
Beautiful.
with it. And we have a sarong that goes with it. And we have a banner. And we have
Nice.
some incense. And we have a Tibetan prayer flag. And
Oh, wow.
all of this stuff.
That's
A little
lots.
bookmark and a little a little affirmation book.
I bought mine all separate. I missed the deal.
And so anyway, this all goes together in their kit. And what we want to do, what we're doing is we believe that meditation is growing.
Absolutely.
We really believe it's growing. And,
Oh,
and, I
absolutely.
mean, it's not that I believe it, it's a fact. People are meditating more and more and more. And we believe that if they have a space in their home, a little corner, a little part of the room, and they don't need a big space,
No.
with a meditation stool and a few little sacred things there, that they're more likely to do it.
Yeah. I find that for myself, that even if I don't choose to sit on the stool, not to take away from the stool, but it's a prompt, and it's
Yes.
and I believe that when we practice something, and it's like building that muscle where you're getting used to meditating,
Yes.
then all we have to do is look at it. And even if we're not meditating in that moment, it triggers that sense.
Well, I tell people that they're pre-programmed to call you in the morning.
Oh, perfect.
Joanne, come meditate.
Perfect. I love it.
And, I can't see where the technology is, but I'm.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's, I know
I
there's.
plant that seed,
Yeah.
pre-programmed.
Yeah. And I know that people that are listening to us chatting now are probably ranging from, I meditate all the time,
Yes.
to, I tried to meditate and I went,
Yeah, it didn't work for me. Yeah.
I didn't work.
Yeah.
But there's ways of doing it. And so that's where it brings in, we've talked about the belief reparenting. One of the things that I've trained in is sound healing.
Nice.
So using crystal bowls, Tibetan bowls, and I know you sell some of the singing Tibetan
Yeah.
bowls, tuning forks, and one of my favorite is voice. And so whenever I work with somebody or work in groups, some of it's home, but it's actually going through the chakras with all the different sound tones.
Yeah. Yes.
One of my most amazing experiences was speaking at a convention, a women's convention last year, Women Talk, and leading 100 women through a chakra toning of vocal toning. the energy was incredible. And what I love about that is you don't even need to buy anything for that part, right? And it's a way of meditating because it gives you a focus. So whether you're learning just by doing your breathing or by using a sound or doing your ohms, it brings the body in a state of relaxation, and that's when we heal. Because our body's stress and helping people wash off the mud of stress and the residue is my greatest joy. Like that's my mission, whether I'm doing it through social events or through Brilliant Light Wellness. So that getting into that relaxation state is what makes a difference on our health.
What I share with people is that the mind is actually a tool.
Absolutely.
And that well, I see it in meditation here because we do every Monday evening we have meditation here at 6:30.
That's fantastic.
And often there's new people, like like first timers.
Perfect.
And I'll share them. I'll say, so the mind is a tool, and its job generally is to keep us safe.
Absolutely.
And so it's always looking for potential problems. But when we're meditating, we can actually say to the mind, it's okay, relax, we're going to be fine, we're safe here. But what happens is the newcomers will say, well, who's talking to the mind? If I'm talking to the mind, who am I that's talking to the mind? And
it's an interesting concept,
isn't it? Because then we recognize that there's something beyond the mind that's bigger than.
When you can be the observer of yourself, it's so freeing,
isn't it?
Because when we're caught in the muck, I often liken the muck, the stress, people just get what I mean, like the muck of life. When we're so caught in it and we can't see, that's very hard. But when we can get out and take the hose and rinse off and observe, or we get to the point where we know we're in it, where we're like, oh, this isn't life, this isn't me, I'm covered in something external that doesn't belong to me. And meditation allows us to do that.
And gratitude does as well.
Absolutely.
I think both of those things have the potential to bring us present.
Absolutely.
And when we're present, when we're really in the moment, there's no muck. Because we're here now, and there's just love, and there's just beauty, and there's just amazingness. And I coach people that all the power in the world is actually in the now. Like Eckhart Tolle said. And,
absolutely.
So be here now. And how do I get here? Gratitude. Gratitude lists.
Yeah, they've shown gratitude is one of the things that will physiologically shift our bodies and our minds faster than anything else.
Yeah, it's so quick.
Like exercising is good, eating healthy is good, but all of it, meditation, all of that, but gratitude. But what's interesting, this is fascinating, and I love this because especially when people, have you ever been in a dark place, dark enough that it's almost like, I don't even feel like being grateful for anything?
I might not even feel like living.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Here's what's magical.
What?
The action of looking for something to be grateful for is where the benefit is, even if you never find that in that particular session. So practicing and practicing and practicing to get to the point, and then when you get practice at it, you can write just reams of stuff,
things to be grateful for.
Oh, it could be something as grateful for, I don't know, I'm grateful for my fingernails because they give me, I can scratch and itch. As ridiculous as that might seem.
Yes, my breath. I'm grateful.
That's
for
right,
my breath.
and the sunshine and the trees and all the usual.
Friends,
It shifts our whole being.
Health, even if we're in a hospital bed, dying.
Yeah.
We still have health in the moment.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? We're still here.
Absolutely.
We're still breathing, and to find gratitude in that moment. And I believe that gratitude begats the things that we're grateful for.
Absolutely.
And fear gives us the things we're afraid of.
Absolutely. I've worked palliative,
Yes.
and I've certainly held the hands of people as they pass.
Yes.
And it is as gut-wrenching as it is for family to lose their loved ones. There are beautiful deaths, and I've witnessed them, and gratitude is always present in them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, in the West we've kind of alienated death.
We've separated it, and we've been scared of it, and I in the world that I live with, and the people that I am surrounded by, I think that is opening up. I think it's more talked about.
Yeah.
It's more recognized.
Well,
Yeah.
lots of cultures, the children come to watch the great-grandparents pass, or they come to be there, and family gathers to be around as Grandpa Joe is passing, and it's a part of life, and I think so. That's happening more. Is it that more people?
I do. It could be just the people, obviously my colleagues and so forth, because this is the work that they do. But there's still the mix. There's still some, but there is definitely, and I mean, I've certainly seen it within. We have more hospices around.
Yes,
I mean, years ago it was basically you died at home or you passed in the hospital, and now we have places where people can go and
Finish.
and absolutely in
Life
more
as
of a
we know
home.
it.
We keep you comfortable. I just transition on to whatever
We
is
have
the
no
next.
idea. There's so much we don't know that we don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't pretend to know it,
I was in a situation like that about 3 weeks ago where a friend passed, and I was there at the hospital.
Yeah.
Well, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was his time, and his family was all there. Yes, there was some grief. His kids, felt some grief, but for the most part, we were singing and
beautiful.
Yeah.
And being there with
present.
them.
And so it's part of.
Absolutely. And even when somebody.
We should be so lucky to be involved.
Absolutely. Well, I know when my own mother passed, it was a good 10 years ago.
Yes.
My sister and I were both at her bedside. And it was the couple days progression where she just didn't wake up as much the one day, so we gathered round. But she knew what was going on too. One of the nurses, one of her favorite nurses, had come in, and we were talking, and we were with her, and she was holding her hand, and I think we must have been talking, and somebody made a joke about something, and right at that moment, it's like my mom's hand was squishing, kind of like, I'm listening to you, like my soul's listening to you no matter what, right? And so it is important to be present, and if you can't be present right at that time, then just even bringing our loved ones into our thoughts. I mean, I believe the spirit is it can be, in a sense, that omnipresent. It can be there. It knows that you're honoring and thinking
One
of them.
One of the things that I coach people that mostly people in recovery that I work with is to have a love list. So the names of people that in some cases they might have been angry with, or had something that went amiss, and maybe not in relationship with anymore, but to not only to look at their names but visualize them and send love.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And so I call it my love list. And
that's wonderful.
Yeah, and it's so the two lists that I prescribe are a gratitude list and a love list.
Absolutely, I love those. Yeah.
And I think that many of us are going to live to be 100.
Oh, absolutely.
Now,
I'm quite on my dad's side. For sure, he's 87 years old and still owns a boat on Georgian Bay, and it's his floating cottage, and and he's in his own home. He's doing fabulous, and my grandfather lived to 99, and so
will we have fabulous at 70?
I think so. I'm wondering, maybe we should do like sensational 60s or 70s or something along those lines.
Yeah,
but
because I'm in my early 60s, and I feel amazing. I've never felt physically better or stronger.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool because when I was a kid, guys in their 60s were really old.
Decrepit old men sometimes.
No, yeah.
See, it's interesting because my mind thought that's not always, that's what I would see sometimes. Yeah. But to me, 80 was my grandpa refinishing my bedroom furniture. So I had a different perspective on aging. Like I was very used to people within my immediate
world. So some of your Fabulous at 50 group are in their 60s?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I say it's anyone aspiring to be fabulous at 50 and beyond.
Yes, okay.
And anyone that's just out there to help celebrate them.
Nice.
So, really what this event does is bring fabulous women together with the incredible businesses that serve and support them, right? Because you need to connect them both. And honestly, if you remember last year, the exhibitors, they had as much fun checking out each other's booths and services as the people that come. I do like to pride myself in that this event, the exhibitors have as much fun as the attendees.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for inviting us again.
I appreciate coming. This was incredible. Yeah.
I don't mean here. I mean, thanks for inviting us to your event.
Okay.
I'm excited. James and I are both going to come.
Yay!
And aren't we, James?
James is behind the camera there. You can't see him.
It'll be a lot of fun to meet
I think
everybody.
we have such a wide range of
Tell us
people.
what else is going to happen that day, events-wise.
Okay. So as we mentioned, doors open at 10 o'clock. Line up. If you want to get one of the awesome goodie bags, line up by about 9:30, quarter to.
First 100 gets a goodie bag.
That's right. The first 100 gets a goodie bag. Even about another 100 after still gets one of these wonderful bags that we have printed up special for us. You can go around and there's so many different vendors. I mean, people often think of women's shows as just hair and makeup and anti-aging creams, and that's, we'll have a little bit of that, but that's not what it's all about. It's everything from the inside out. We take main stage at about 10:30, and we have the presentation of the makeover winner. So right now we just had the Radiance, Release Your Inner Radiance, and that's actually the theme. I'll just backtrack for a minute. The theme or title of this year's event is Discover Your Inner Radiance.
Nice.
So it's getting people to remember you have an inner radiance no matter what else is going on the outside. And there's always ways to have that released. And so we just chose our makeover winner. And she is an incredible woman.
Does she know yet?
She does know.
Okay.
She does know. Petra Gordon, she does know.
Nice.
And she came to see me on Friday. So we had one of our sessions, and it was very transformative. But the main part of the makeover, the external part of the makeover is next Monday, April 1st, and that's where the hair and the makeup and the clothing, and then a fabulous photo shoot with just a really amazing photographer. Yeah. And then, so that at the start of the day is we have the reveal. We show the story and the transformation, because she does have lots of sessions that are like healing sessions, not just by me. And so it really is about inside out. And so that's on stage. We have Safe for Life, which is run by Lorna, who will have, how do I describe it? It's called the Padded Attacker. Basically, she's going to teach self-defense, for the women, and it's a really fun on-stage presentation. We already mentioned Wayne Lee, who's going to be doing the hypnotist type presentation. It's inspirational, entertaining part of the day. Our top sponsors for the year is Chartwell, so they have the retirement residencies. So like Colonel Butcher is one of them here in town, and the reason we partnered with them is even though the end users are seniors who are living in the homes, the people that are the customers are the children that often in their 50s are helping to find a beautiful
mom and dad.
Exactly, a beautiful home. But what I really loved about this business is they are so caring about the community. They have lots of programs. Like it's hard to have those conversations with your parents. How do you bring up the conversations? Do you have your affairs in order? Do you have your will? No matter what age, we should all have that type of thing. So they do a lot of that, but they also have partnered with an organization called Wish of a Lifetime. So they grant wishes to seniors.
Oh, wow. Like the Children's
Just
Wish.
like the Children's Wish Foundation.
Nice.
So seniors, they've done things where, and you watch their videos, and it might be a woman who's always wanted to go in an airplane, or a gentleman that's always wanted to conduct an orchestra, or fly over to, I think it was like Thailand, and see his great-grandchildren.
Wow.
They grant these wishes.
Nice.
And apparently they're short of wishes in like they're needing more or welcoming more applications to, I know someone that would like this wish to be granted.
Nice.
And so Chartwell does a lot of promotion and fundraising for this organization.
Nice.
So some of that's going to happen. So some heartwarming things at the event. And then of course my dear friend and colleague Heather Dreger is, she teaches a wonderful program called Applause for Menopause. So we're going to have a bit of conversation about what goes on in our lives in menopause, but she's really talking more about the seasons of a woman and and what we need to know. So that would be, that's kind of an educational, inspirational talk. But there's a wide range, depending on what your interests are. There's, at some point in the day, there'll be someone on stage for you to, you know, for people to watch. And I have other ladies that come and they set up, and this is their chair, and they watch every presentation throughout the whole day. Because you can treat it, it's like a conference, trade, you know, marketplace, conference, and party all rolled into one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a big deal. It's a lot of work, isn't it?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous amount of
help?
work. I do. I have an incredible, I call them Team Fabulous.
Yes.
So I you know, there is some staff, but definitely a whole group of women that are amazing, and all day long they're there to make things run wonderfully.
So this is a shout out to Team Fabulous.
Yeah, Team Fabulous. You guys are amazing and fabulous, and they kind of caretake. And the attendees, but also the exhibitors as well, because we want to make sure that everybody there has the support they need.
Looked after,
Yeah, because it's we talked about the messaging of gratitude and generosity and celebration.
Yes.
But the biggest thing with that generosity is the other big messaging I give is that we all ideally should learn to generously give, but also graciously receive. Right? So that graciously receiving, if we do not graciously receive what other people are giving, we're actually being selfish. Because we're depriving the other person of their gift.
I hear you, yes. Yeah. I know. I mean...
I know I'm preaching to the choir here. But it's like, but it's something that, as I think as women, often it's hard for us to remember we're meant to receive.
We... all of us, I think, struggle with asking for help.
Yep.
And you know, and that's a bit ego, isn't it?
It is.
You know, it's like, you know, we don't want anybody to kind of know that we need help.
Yeah. And sometimes,
And or we're afraid of being turned down or something, you know.
Yeah. And it can be worthiness or people, but there must be that balance. If it, otherwise, it's like a coin. You can't walk around saying, "I'm only going to buy things with the tail side of this coin." You can't do that. You need to have both to have that flow. You know, I see that a lot.
I have a tough time sometimes with asking for help.
Yeah. Well, asking for help and receiving is sometimes a little different too. Like they're both is, but if we're open
receiving.
to it, if we receive, we're actually giving a gift, and so that's part of that mind shift in receiving is that if you know, and people when we're sick sometimes we don't want to, but when our loved ones want to support us, we would want to support them. And how do we feel if someone rejects our gift? Right? So so when we can open that up and learn to receive and then give back, overall, we're filling our cup up, right? There's the messaging is that, and definitely the Fab at 50 and the Brilliant Light Wellness talks about, we want to give from our overflow. If we keep ourselves filled up, we can give more to others. If we give from a place of depletion, it's a bit like running on empty. How well does our car run if we let it run out of gas or we don't change the oil?
I haven't done that in a while, but yes. But I have done that.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't go anywhere.
I actually notice that when I get so busy in my life, I'm going, I'll get my gas later. When I like to keep my gas pretty full. When it starts to run low, and it starts to really run low, I actually now I'm aware enough that I go, my gas is running low. I take a look at my own life. I take that as an external cue that you are getting so busy, you're not even willing to put gas in your car. That means your life is getting too busy and you're not taking care of yourself. And it's one of my checks. So take a look at your gas tank there next time around. It's just a simple thing, but
I know.
If we start to recognize when we're getting depleted and we fill ourselves up, we can keep doing better in the world.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So taking that time to meditate or
you know what they
play your singing bowls.
Told the guy who said he was too busy to meditate for half an hour. Then he better meditate for an hour.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's right up there with let me see if I get this right. If you don't have time for health now, you will have to make time for illness later.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And we know one of the reasons why I put so much effort into creating community with Fab at 50 and that sense of like social connectedness, is there are so many studies out there that show one of the single greatest determinants on how healthily we age is whether we have social interactiveness.
Community.
People live in community, whether it's our family and community, whatever your world is, but you have a sense of community.
Do you do other things like for your 50 for the group, like other events or?
Oh, absolutely, all year long. All year long, there's at least 1 or 2 events per month.
Oh, so a lot of the same ladies come, and so
yes,
that's
it's a mix. We have an ongoing, and that's what's interesting about this event. It's not just about this event. Like many trade shows come into town and leave again.
Yeah.
This is our community come together in celebration.
Okay.
So we have an ongoing book club. There was an ongoing singing group. There's social events. We have one lady that in the summer plans some hikes. We have. So there'll be a mix. There'll be where we'll put the word out on meetup, and go,
so you have your own meetup group?
We have the own meetup group. So
it's called Fabulous at 50?
Yeah, Fabulous at 50, the
Calgary.
meetup group. You can go to the website, the www.fabulousat50.com.
Yeah.
You can go there and see. But the meetup group is an easy way to say, yes, I'm coming to RSVP.
Yeah.
And it might be, let's go on a hike. It might be, let's go to some social event. Or it might be that I'm actually running a workshop. So some of the things we run and people come, and others we just say, let's go as a group together and go to something else someone else is putting on.
Do you think some of those folks would like to meditate in a group?
They do.
Do they meditate in a group?
You know what? I've done some work around. We just had a drum circle last week,
yes.
So that was fantastic. I've done some sound, but there's a lot of the women that are interested in meditation. So
I saw the drum circle. I remember you put out a note that said, "How many are coming? Because I'm renting the drums."
Yeah.
Who did you get the drums from?
Actually, the woman who was leading the drum circle, Marnie Johnson, she was in charge of getting it.
Okay.
But it ended. She has her connections, and some of them, I'm not sure if she ended up renting them or borrowing them. And because I have quite a few drums, she has drums.
Well, we have
so
a
between us, we brought them together.
Circles of Rhythm, which is Friday nights.
That's where she trained. So that's probably who she rented from.
Yeah. Julian and that crew.
Yes.
Have an amazing event every Friday.
I love
night.
it. I love it. I have.
Yeah.
I have.
What was the lady's name who used to run that?
Judy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Judy Armstrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Judy had,
I saw her recently.
For years. And
absolutely.
And this young fella and his team have carried the vision on, which is amazing.
So that was that. But what we did was sometimes, I think it's fabulous to walk into that group.
Yep.
But for some people and some women in our group, it's like, that's a bit over.
A little too much.
It's a little intimidating when it's the first time if they've never done drumming before. So we had it as like 12 of us in more of an intimate setting. And that's what Fab at 50 a lot is about, is we do a wide variety of events because it's about introducing someone to something and then maybe they'll go on to something else, right?
Travel? Have you guys done any travels together?
We have not yet, but I actually... funny to speak. Well, it is.
Yeah.
Actually, I am, we're doing more of a low-key, wonderful get-together at the end of May in Mexico. So if there's any women out there, we're going to Mexico for a week.
Yes.
And
there'll be some couples as well as singles.
That one's for women.
Oh,
that one, I know.
Good for you.
But couples is in the works. More with Brilliant Light Wellness. Yeah. My dream is to actually run weekends for couples.
Yes.
To support them in deepening their connection.
Nice.
And because that's where when relationships are good.
Guys.
Absolutely, stay tuned.
Yeah. So Mexico's the women. When's that?
At the end of May. So I have a little bit of room. If somebody's sitting out there going, I want to go to Mexico and I want to.
Well, I think that so many people,
it's a retreat.
Women, want to travel and maybe don't want to go by themselves.
Yeah. So what you'll find with something like that, as opposed to Fab at 50 saying, I'm going to take you on travel trips, is I have wonderful, excuse me, I'm going to take a drink of my water, incredible women who do run travel, and they're part of the Fab at 50.
Yes.
So it's a really very much a connector. right? So you're part of Fab at 50, and that's where you're going to meet other people. It's not possible for us to do it all.
Yeah.
That's not our job.
No.
But our job is to bring women together so
Yeah.
that, you know, like Kathy doing
Kathy
Babes in
Buckley.
Bali. Yeah, right?
I love Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy's amazing.
Yeah.
And so there's other. And so another
And her
incredible.
husband's great too.
I know.
Everybody needs to go vote for
Are
him.
we putting a little plug in? Keep it non-political, but
Yeah.
they're good people.
They're very nice people.
They're very good people. So the other thing that's coming up, so Heather Dreger, who I mentioned before,
Yeah.
she runs a program called Applause for Menopause. She's a health coach. She's
Yeah.
a dear friend of mine, wonderful colleague. And I am assisting her
Yeah.
on her retreat
Yeah.
in Costa Rica in November.
Wow. Good for you, girl.
So so in a sense I'm attending,
Yeah.
but attending and working a little bit at
and
the same
maybe
time.
supporting to fill the
Exactly.
retreat.
Helping to support. We'll be doing a bit of sound. We'll be doing, because we want to bring in that sense of let's get more connected to ourselves. You know, a lot of women have spent their whole time pleasing their husbands, their
kids.
work, their kids, taking care of everybody else.
Yeah.
And then they sit down and go, who am I and what do I want in this next phase of my life?
Yes.
And so something along this lines, a retreat is a phenomenal way of really kick-starting that process.
Mark that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is when the shift happened, and I began to look after
Yeah.
me. And so that, like you said, if they're looking after themselves, they can actually have more to give.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's more joyful.
Yes.
And then you're helping other people.
No empty tank.
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
don't want to be running on empty tanks. We
Yeah.
need to sometimes
Well,
fill our own cups
if
first.
we do, it affects our health.
Absolutely. And again, that's when I come in, that one-on-one or group sessions where we take it more into the health and wellness. The Brilliant Light Wellness is very much about clearing that energy that would build up and cause illness.
Yes.
You know, or helping support someone through
Yeah.
illness. Now, I'm very, as you know, I'm not a all or nothing. I'm not into total alternative and turn my back to Western medicine, as
No,
we
no.
call it,
No,
or
I
the
mean-
other way. If I'm in a car accident, please rush me to the nearest emergency.
Yeah.
And
your career has been in nursing.
that's right,
So
exactly.
You know.
And
Yeah.
but I bring in the complementary. I
Yeah.
know that, you know, vitamins and nutrition and
Yeah.
exercise and shifting our mindset has to be part of the process.
Breath.
Breath. Oh, do you know Lorraine Clifford?
No.
Oh, she does breathwork. She teaches Buteyko breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about learning, retraining our bodies to breathe through our nose and out through our nose, creating the sympathetic, or calming the sympathetic and bringing in that parasympathetic. She helps people with snoring and sleep apneas and heart issues and so forth. I've done her training and it's incredible.
Is it?
And again,
I can
that's
get rid
part
of
of.
the CPAP?
Oh, absolutely. She had. I'm not saying that you just kind of throw it out the door, but that is the type of thing she'll work with people, and have witnessed people
Wow.
shift that. It is possible. It was developed by I believe, a Russian doctor. She'd be the expert in that. But that's the community that Fabulous at 50 has, right?
Nice.
She's definitely one. She's been a speaker at one of my events before.
Breath work. I've done some sessions with Trevor. James, how do you say Trevor's last name? Yulik.
Yeah. I'm glad you're not the only one that gets caught on names.
And he does like a rebirthing breath work, and it's
Okay. Yeah.
I'd love
Yeah.
you to come one time because it's so amazing.
Yeah.
You go deep. Breath work can release. Actually, it releases our own DMT, and which is like can take us into an altered state.
Yeah.
In the breath work, like a rebirthing state, and people have amazing experiences. Breath is very powerful.
Absolutely. Because the oxygen, you know, when we think about it, well, oxygen is the most important thing we need. If we don't have oxygen for a few minutes,
We're kind of screwed.
that's right. And then water
Yeah.
is, you know, we can go more for a few days, but
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
we need it. And then we go into food and nutrition.
I think I go too heavy on the food.
I know, we can go a few, some of us can live a little longer without food than
Yeah.
others.
Yeah.
And then that next one is light. And
Yes.
if I can mention a bit on that, because
Yes.
Brilliant Light Wellness is, we have the thought, we have the sound, the frequency, and then light is so powerful. So I actually work with a light device, and it is a neoprene pad with diodes that has blue, red, and near infrared, and we place it on the body.
Wow.
Because light, we know that sunlight and the full spectrum light and different aspects of the light have different effects on us. Some wavelengths of light are damaging, so of course that's the UVA, UVB. But the blue, red, and near infrared have been proven scientifically many times over that it creates health in our body. It's absorbed into our bodies.
Yeah.
It releases what's called nitric oxide, which is a natural vasodilatant, but it helps with healing, circulation, pain reduction. Like anyone that's ever gone on a holiday or when the sun comes out, everyone goes outside and they feel so good, but we don't always get enough. So we can actually use,
especially we live in the northern hemisphere.
That's right. So we can actually use science-based machines to increase the frequency. And so the particular machine I work with has light, but it also pulses the light. So we're bringing in frequency and the light waves. So the two together, it can be used to work with certain conditions.
Yes.
Mostly what I'm using with now is it brings about incredible relaxation.
Nice.
So when I use the three together, it's kind of that trifecta, and you just can't help but walk out smiling and feeling good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's part of when you spend time doing some one-on-one sessions with people. That's part of
one-on-one sessions or retreat work or group sessions, and working on making that a bit more online.
Yes.
You might not be able to come in and get the light therapy directly, but we can do sound. We can certainly do the thought work and.
So there's this guy. His name's Dave Asprey, and he is the Bulletproof Coffee guy.
Yeah.
And he's. I've just read one of his books, like he's behind you, called Headstrong, and see it right there.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yes.
And,
and he talks a lot about light and about.
Yes.
He talks about earthing too, just standing on the ground in your bare feet, like in the grass, and feeling the energy of the earth coming into your body. And his deal is he thinks we should be able. He's planning to live to 180.
All right.
And he uses good fats like MCT oil and grass-fed butter in his coffee, like I do as well. And but also the light. He's talking about how this light, the fluorescent light that you and I are using right now, it's really hard on our system. And we need more red light and more blue light.
Absolutely, we do, and we need it. And people sometimes, blue light has had a bum rap because there's different types and wavelengths, but you get the blue light coming off your screens. Now taking that in with open eyes is not always the best for sure, but getting the blue wavelengths, the blue light wavelengths in sunlight or in a device like this, and your eyes are closed, it's actually healing for the skin. So blue light penetrates a couple millimeters. Red can penetrate a couple centimeters, and near infrared can penetrate up to 10 centimeters, depending on how long it's used for. So saunas that are infrared, but there also is
I want one of those.
I know, they're good. But there is a difference between near infrared and far infrared, right? So they have different purposes.
So near is better than far?
No, there's not one better. They're different purposes, right? So the far infrared, you're going to have more of the heat, and you're going to have that sweat, and that's more of the sauna. This is near infrared. It's not thermal. It's called photobiomodulation. So so we're going to get into a whole different science realm. But light in the States, this particular machine has been, it's FDA approved and for circulation, inflammation, and pain.
Wow.
And so, they're working with people with PTSD. They're working with like traumatic brain injuries and concussions. Think of somebody that has diabetes and they have poor wound healing. Well, they have poor circulation and they don't have the normal level of nitric oxide. So if we raise that, now you can raise that by going in the sun, but you can also raise it by using certain types of sound.
Nice.
So tuning forks. Have you ever had experiences with tuning forks?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I have these.
Yeah, that's a little different, but that's awesome. But one of the things, anyone that's trained, well, not anyone, but if you're many sound healers are trained with tuning forks and different tuning forks. If you have something that's called a perfect fifth, then when they're rung and you hold them beside the ears, that frequency actually triggers the brain to release more nitric oxide, which is then a part of your healing cascade physiologically. So this isn't just kind of, woo-woo. It seems it. But when people feel that, here's my saying, I go, did you know the earth was once flat? It's because we didn't know any different.
Yes.
And so a lot of the stuff that seems mystical to us now,
It's just because, we don't know.
we just don't always understand
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
it and do we need to all the time, right? But I love knowing the science behind
Yeah.
it. I love walking that line
Yeah.
of, this
Well, some of
is
the stuff in that
amazing.
book I just talked
Yeah.
about. I mean, David Asprey is he's like a geek in health.
Yeah.
He's a tech
Yeah.
geek, but he's also a geek in health. And he gives so many great clues on how we can live more fully now.
Yeah.
So he's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's great that you know all this stuff.
Well, I'm loving it. I'm learning every day. One of the things that I started doing a number of years ago is when I started learning.
Yes.
I did my coaching training, I did facilitation training, I went back to university, I did a whole bunch of stuff. And when I started back at work, because I still work part-time, it's every single day, one of my greatest joys is when I say, oh, I learned something new today.
Nice.
And it can be something simple we master, but I've learned to bring in that celebration because often we just get so caught in, oh, I don't know this. And even when we master something new or learn something new, we don't even give credit.
Yes.
So I encourage everyone to say, oh, I learned something new today.
So
and
mark the spot.
Yeah, mark the spot.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
For
cool.
you.
Awesome. We could talk all day, couldn't we?
We could. I think
I see.
I want to congratulate you on
Thank
the
you.
work you're doing
Thank you.
and the care that you're taking of
Appreciate
your
that.
community.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's really obvious, and I remember last year how many of your women just love you.
Aw.
They do. They're just surrounding
Aw.
you and looking after you, and being there.
I do. I appreciate them.
Yeah, you have such a great team, and
I think we all take care of each other. What I love, honestly, is in the city, in Calgary, especially because that's my experience, is there's quite a few different women's groups out there, and what I see is collaboration
yes,
and support of each other. We go to each other's events. We're
Nice.
there to support, especially for the one used to organizing the event. We understand what goes into it.
Yeah.
We will walk up to each other and go, how's it going? Do you need any help? Do you need me to do anything? I find that beautiful.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this or not, but I've been involved in men's work.
You have?
for
What's
20
that?
years.
Yes,
and,
yeah.
And I'm on a men's group or men's team, we call
Yeah,
it.
it's fantastic.
And yes, and men, it's a safe place for us to come and sometimes dump our muck.
You need to, or get the hose out and wash it off.
And we do wash
put
them
it
off,
down
yeah.
the drain.
And
you
we
know.
do, and sometimes when the fellas come, they can be a bit in the early days having a little victim story going on.
Yeah.
And we soon get past that into
Absolutely.
what responsibility and what part did I play in this, and
Absolutely.
And we've seen some people who've come and been with us and look like their marriage was finished and actually have things get revitalized.
Absolutely.
'Cause we teach men how to be a little more romantic and how to get back in the game. And,
Yes.
and
This is what I want to be doing in those weekends as
yes.
well.
And
For the couples.
because a lot of times fellas have forgotten what their part is.
Yeah.
And so it's especially as things change in life, and they've been together with somebody for 20 years, and the kids have grown up, and stuff has happened. Maybe somebody's lost a job. There's all kinds of things that happen, and it's hard to keep the relating as an important part. So
Absolutely.
we support
Absolutely.
men in
Yep.
those things and being
Yep.
good dads.
Stress has a big impact on that.
Sure.
Because when people are stressed,
Yeah.
the same hormones. So think about it, is if your body is there to keep you alive,
Yeah.
when you're under stress, that used to mean like saber-toothed tiger is
Yeah.
about to kill you.
Yeah.
Those same hormones are used for romantic encounters, shall we say.
Are they?
They are.
Okay.
And so if your body has a choice between keep you alive, procreate, it's going to keep you alive.
Yes.
So when we allow our bodies to be in chronic, constant stress,
Yes.
we damage our health, we damage our relationships, we damage our sex life, we damage so much.
Yes.
But it's so insidious.
Yes.
It erodes away insidious. And so that's why your meditations, things like bringing in healings and
Yeah.
bowls, and whether you go for a massage or Reiki, whatever. I don't like
hike.
a hike, get it out in nature or do a bit of each.
Mm-hmm.
That calms us and allows our body to heal, but it increases just our joy in life and our relationships, exactly what you said. Yeah.
Sweet.
So important.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you're doing this work.
Thank you.
And I invite everybody to, go to this event, April 14th.
Thank you.
And check out Joanne's site. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Tickets are on sale on Eventbrite.
Yes.
Yeah. Discover Your Inner Radiance is the title of this year's event.
We're going to post the event on our Facebook page.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll do that. And people can ask, so people can ask to be on
mailing list?
Yeah, the email list for the social, but also if you're a business, you might want to be on the business list, because then you hear about if there's an event. Because we do have smaller events throughout the year, so you can get on that. You can be on both. I have quite a few on both.
Yes.
And again, or if somebody wants to reach out, if you're sitting there going, I don't know how to manage the stress I'm in, or I'm doing well, but I want to do better. I want to be proactive.
Yeah.
You can reach out to me, and kind of all roads lead to Rome, whether you're going through Fab at 50 or whatever. You can reach out to me and just say, I'm interested in shifting what's going on in my life. I'd be happy to work with people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
You're
I want to come and check out the meditation night as well. Yeah,
Monday
I think
evenings at 6:30.
Monday at 6:30.
Yeah.
Okay, every week.
Every week.
Every week. Okay.
Yeah, we're even if I'm not here, it hasn't happened yet, but even if I'm not here, James can
is running that.
Yeah, can do the meditation group.
Well, as you know,
Yes.
meditating in a group versus by yourself, you can just feel it.
Oh yeah,
you can just feel it.
It's really powerful.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of people that come back week after week.
Fantastic.
Same people, that are kind of part of our, and we're building a bit of a community.
Awesome.
Around the meditation. I envision, I call them Meditation Mondays, and I think that
I like that.
It can happen. Yeah. We envision it actually happening all over as we help people create spaces in different cities,
so even if they're not coming to your physical space, they can just meditate maybe at the same time.
At the same time,
and you get that.
We're going to be doing some live video stuff on Meditation Mondays, but also Mrs. Jones, the proverbial Mrs. Jones, who lives in, say, Medicine Hat, can have a meditation on Monday night at 6:30, and we'll support her.
Beautiful.
In the group that we have, and so that local people can come and meditate in her group.
Yeah.
So it builds community. And I think that my motto, my thing is that we're lifting the vibration of the planet one meditator at a time. And so meditation focuses on kind of on a higher vibration as opposed to on the problem, whatever the problem might be.
Absolutely.
Let's focus on this, which is, lifts us up. And when we lift it up, the problem disappears.
Absolutely. The more we focus on something, the more we resist something, the more it's going to push back.
Yes.
So the more we focus on, because there is always going to be problems out there, and there's always going to be beauty, and we can choose what we choose to focus on. It's like tuning into a radio station. If you don't like the station, focus in on something else. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to.
I think so too, because we're going to we're going to split this and go for another hour.
We could, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's been incredible here. Thank you so much. I love learning from you and sharing what I do. It's fun.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Thanks you guys for watching, and check us out on YouTube. We'd love it if you subscribe to us on YouTube, and then we're going to put all of Joanne's channels there, and you can see her there.
Awesome.
Okay, love you lots. Cheers. Bye.